Eurydice Dixon wrote to her pal on Facebook, "I'm almost home safe. Phew, how about you?" Ms. Dixon's body was found hours later by passers-by in a park just a few hundred meters from her home. Devastated friends have paid tribute to the 22-year-old comedian as a remarkable and universally loved talent, as a 19-year-old man remains in custody over her killing. Her death has renewed calls for an end to violence against women and victim blaming, and police statements urging people to be aware of their surroundings have sparked anger. Friends say comedian Eurydice Dixon, 22, was an emerging talent. Ms. Dixon was just minutes from her home in Melbourne, Australia when she was attacked in Princes Park. She sent her final message to friend Tony Magnuson just after midnight on Wednesday morning after performing a stand-up gig at the Highlander Bar in Melbourne city centre, The Age reports. Her body was found at about 2:40 a.m. Ms. Dixon was walking home from a stand-up gig when she was attacked. Police carry out an investigation at the park where Ms. Dixon was killed. Mr. Magnuson, one of the last people to see Ms. Dixon alive, said she was in high spirits following her comedy set. They had left the bar at 10:40 p.m., got food at a supermarket and then went their separate ways at Flinders Street Station, with Ms. Dixon taking a route she had used several times before. Mr. Magnuson told The Age, "She gave me a hug, blew me a kiss and said she was going for a walk." The comedian's death has renewed a discussion over violence against women. Ms. Dixon had performed a set at the Highlander Bar hours before she was killed. She was on top of the world because her gig went so well. At 12 a.m. I got a message that said, "I'm almost home safe. Phew." Ms. Dixon's death has drawn comparisons to the rape and murder of Irish woman Jill Maher, 29, who was killed as she walked home from a pub in a nearby Melbourne suburb in September 2012. Outrage over Mrs. Meagher's death led to tougher parole laws in Australia. Her killer was on parole for previous rapes, and a number of anti-violence campaigns. Ms. Dixon had sent a text message to a friend shortly before the attack. Ms. Dixon's death has sparked an outpouring of grief and anger while renewing a discussion about violence against women. After the killing, Victoria Police Superintendent David Clayton offered public safety advice, encouraging women to have situational awareness and carry a mobile phone. But the advice from police was criticized as victim-blaming. Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews was one of many who said it was men who have to change. He wrote on Facebook, "Eurydice Dixon was 22 years old. She was an aspiring comedian. Smart, funny. She lived in the inner north, surrounded by friends." Ms. Dixon, right, was a feminist who wasn't afraid to poke fun at her values. She had a phone. She was using it. She was keeping an eye on her surroundings, looking out for herself, being responsible, doing everything we expect. But Eurydice did not make it home safe. In a few days, women across Melbourne will gather in Princes Park for a vigil of her life. And they will do so firm in the knowledge that Eurydice died because of her attackers' decisions, not because of her own. They're right. And we need to accept that fact, too. He added, "So our message to Victorian women is this: stay home. Or don't. Go out with friends at night. Or don't. Go about your day exactly as you intend, on your terms. Because women don't need to change their behavior." Activist Pia Cerveri, who is organizing a Reclaim the Park vigil, told ABC that women should be entitled to walk and feel safe any time of day or night. The attack happened in Princes Park in Melbourne, Australia. She added, "It's appalling and not good enough that any women could feel unsafe or even come to harm for choosing to walk home a certain way." Devastated friends say Ms. Dixon was a talented comedian and an emerging performer. They described her as a feminist who poked fun at her own values in her stand-up gigs. Comedian Nick Berry told ABC, "When I first met her she was actually quite introverted, but she was an incredibly intelligent and articulate young woman and she had a real talent for comedy. She had a great passion for women's issues and social justice issues and she drew upon them a lot in the material that she produced as a comic." In a statement, the Highlander Bar said, "She was a remarkable, talented, kind, unique and universally loved person, and the entire staff are shattered and heartbroken. Local man James Todd, 19, has appeared in court accused of raping and murdering Ms. Dixon. The court was told he had never been in custody before and he has autism spectrum disorder.